me about your journalism class.
For sure, yeah. Love to do it.
Great. So you joined AIM Academy faculty last semester, and you also moved to New York and took a very exciting job there. Just briefly tell us what your day job is, Jack.
Yeah, so I'm a production assistant for a podcast company called Three Uncanny Four Productions. It's a company that's a joint venture with Sony Music. We're relatively new on the scene, but we already have a good handful of investigative podcasts out, news media related podcasts focusing on topics like the Jeffrey Epstein case or the coronavirus or the racial riots. And it's a lot of A-list podcast names attached in the company. It's just been so exciting to work with them.
And I was so pleased for you when I heard about your job. And I thought you were, first of all, I knew that you had a great college experience, that you had some exciting internships, that you were editor on a college newspaper, and then you got this great offer with a top podcaster, the founder of Planet Money, just to, if people want to do any quick digging to find out who we're talking about. But
Yeah.
and I thought I would see if you wanted to bring your expertise to the students here at AIM Academy.
Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. It's really exciting to be able to teach high schoolers and being able to kind of go over the basics of journalism, where I feel like I'm learning things again from it while imparting it to the students. And I don't know, it's fun to see people get interested in journalism as a whole.
So just tell me a little bit, Jack, on why you think journalistic writing in particular, why journalism, why is this a course that any high school student should consider taking with you?
Sure. So journalistic writing it's fairly ubiquitous in a lot of ways. Not to say that the actual style of writing is something you're going to use in everything, but it's more an interest in journalism is an interest in the world in general. So it opens doors to so many different things when you're really getting invested. I know personally, when I was in high school, I found that I was a little bit sluggish in a lot of things, and I was trying to figure out, like what I was interested in and everything. As a interest in journalism blossomed, it just you can't just be interested in journalism. You have to be interested in people. You have to be interested in the intricacies of what's going on in the world and why things are happening. You have to ask a lot of questions. And if you're invested in that kind of stuff, even just a little bit, just having like basic practices from a high school level class, it can carry on into the rest of your life and open up so many doors that you wouldn't have been interested in going into in the first place.
I couldn't agree more. I was a journalism minor in college. I was a writing major, and it teaches you how to think critically. I think the discipline of a very controlled, specific kind of writing, and then you're writing on, what's happening in the world around you. So I'm very pleased to add this. What are some of the fun assignments or the interesting assignments in your semester course that kids are going to be able to tackle?
Absolutely. So the intro to journalism class, I kind of think of it as like a sample platter of journalism, where you're getting a taste of all major writing styles and basically where journalism is today. So the writing assignments, it's been interesting trying to figure it out where I don't have the opportunity to send the kids out into the field for anything really or get them on real stories.
Right now. Yeah.
But right now, for the time being, but for assignments in conjunction with that, being able to go in depth with what the kids are interested in for like for interviews or for people around them. For example, we did a feature piece where essentially I wanted the students to pitch me an idea for feature writing, which is essentially like an in-depth profile on somebody or concept or uh, a more illustrative piece about a specific item or topic. So the kids got to pitch me an idea, and we went in depth as to why this person's interesting, why this fits into the feature genre, and guide them through each step of the writing process. Another assignment that I feel like went off really well was for a breaking news coverage. Now, of course, we can't just throw the students into breaking news right off the bat with an intro to journalism course. So essentially, I manufactured a scenario for the kids where I was playing different characters in this environment, being able to provide them with quotes, and they asked me questions as different positions of authority or anything like that, and they were able to gather all their information, have kind of that news field experience without actually having to be out there and getting to have it in a safe space where you get to critique their questions, guide them into the right directions of what should you be asking right now, what's the concept that you want to be going for, how is this going to fit into your story, and being able to create a rich environment while just at the computer.
That sounds excellent, like a lot of fun. Well, I have one more question for you, and I think it will be on many of our parents' minds. How, the media is in the news now; they've become part of the news story. In your class, do you take any time to talk about the concept of fake news or media bias or censorship? I mean, is what's going on in the world around us something that you are covering in this course?
Yeah. So with the concept of fake news, media bias, I think the best antidote to consuming fake news or not understanding the world around you is practice, is having good news consumption habits. So in my class, we have regular news quizzes where I'm testing the kids to see where they're getting their information from, how often are they scrolling through and just getting a feel for how things are going, and essentially encouraging a diversity of sources. So there's no ready antidote for fake news or media bias or anything like that. But it's more training your mind to be ready to take a piece that may be biased, that may have fake information in it, being able to process it and compare it to other pieces covering the same thing or in the same realm, and being able to recognize biases, where the writer is coming from, what the news site is founded on. So even if you're reading things that may be false, that may be way out of proportion, you're able to digest that properly and be able to say, well, I know this about this publication, or I know this other source said this, so I automatically have my suspicions. And knowing where to go for the sources, what are the more reputable sources, what are the more trustworthy sources, and what are the ones that you can get good information from, but you need to be wary of what they're saying or who's writing it. So it's being in the practice, and that's what I found to be most helpful for me personally, going through it and seeing kids being able to process this um, a little bit more slow, a little bit more measured, um, really get some good results in the long term.
Hey, thanks so much for your time, Jack. That's exactly why I asked you to consider joining our faculty. I think that your course would really be indispensable to preparing students for college, not just for academically in the classroom where they have to write a lot, but just what you just were describing, helping kids become critical thinkers. So we can't just live in a bubble and not be exposed to news around us or the media around us. We're in a world that is just overwhelmed with media. But your approach, where you're just teaching kids like, okay, let's analyze these sources, let's see if these claims can be substantiated, where is the evidence? All right, there is everybody has bias. How are you as a writer going to have an ethical code in terms of your own biases, right? So thanks again, and we look forward to a great future semester with you and your students.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.